Hello agents, and welcome back to another Division 2 video. Okay, so first of all, thank you so much for clicking on the video, and let me make one thing clear. If you're running Countdown to farm for exotics, you are wasting your time, because there are faster and more effective ways of farming for exotics in the Division 2. And I'm gonna show you guys what I mean by that in this video, but don't get me wrong, Countdown is still a great option to farm for gear. But if you're trying to get a specific exotic weapon or gear, like say, the Coyote Mask, or the St. Elmo's engine, or maybe even the Ninja Bike backpack, then Countdown wouldn't be the way to go, because there are better options that I'm about to show you. So if you are looking for the fastest way to farm for an exotic, these methods will work wonders for you, as it will save you a ton of time. Just keep in mind that this method won't work for the raid exclusive exotics, and for those, I mean the Eagle Bearer, Regulus, Ouroboros, and even the Ravenous. But this is a great way to get the majority of exotics within the general loot pool. So after watching this video and trying these farming methods for yourself, I guarantee that you will get the exotics you're looking for. That is one thing I can guarantee. So just real quick before we dive right in, stick around till the end because I'll be revealing 2 powerful build setups that will make this an easier farm. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay guys, I'm sure many of you know about this first method that I'm about to show you, but for the newer players who have no clue about this, I will be talking to you guys for the most part. But just real quick before we get to that, for those of you who don't know, you can get exotic caches by completing your weekly SHD Requisition, and it's super easy to complete. All you need to do is donate some raw material, and it will show you which material and how many you need to donate. Also, for those who don't know, you can actually do this on all of your characters. So if you have 3 additional characters created, that's 4 exotic caches you can get per week. Right? So whatever exotic you're trying to get, I recommend doing these weekly projects first because you just might get lucky and get the exotic you need. So why not try your luck, right? And if you can complete the weekly legendary mission on all 4 of your characters, that's another 4 exotic caches, right? But legendary difficulty missions can be very frustrating, especially if you don't have a good build set up for it. But as far as these weekly legendary projects go, it's optional, but I wouldn't recommend it. I only recommend completing the SHD weekly project since it's fast and you get an exotic cache once you donate all the required material. Because to be honest, no matter what build you're running, legendary missions on the Division 2 can take a great deal of time to complete. And we want to get these exotics as fast as possible, right? Okay, so this first farming method is super effective and is a lot more time efficient for farming exotics. And that's if you compare it to farming for exotics in Countdown, right? So first things first, you're going to need to have the floor 90 checkpoint for the summit mission. And yeah, I know some of you are probably thinking, I already know this, Prajna. I know. But for those who don't know, let me explain. You're basically going to farm 3 named boss NPCs on floor 90. This can be repeated over and over again. By doing this, you will be saving a lot of time farming for the exotics you need as opposed to running Countdown. Like, in as little as 10 minutes, you could have defeated 6 bosses, which is a lot faster than spending 20 minutes in Countdown, right? But you can do this on any 10th floor, because on every 10th floor, you will have a named bossed enemy to fight. However, what makes floor 90 special is that you will be getting 3 bosses to kill instead of 1 from the lower floors. And if you don't have the floor 90 checkpoint, well, then you're f***ing screwed. I'm joking. But all jokes aside, what you can do is matchmake and try your luck in getting into a group that has the floor 90 checkpoint. And if you manage to get lucky and find a group with the floor 90 checkpoint, stay in there for a little or maybe even help the group out for a bit just so you don't look like a dick for leaving right after joining. You don't have to do this, however, it's just ethical, right? Just be considerate is all I'm saying. You can also just level to floor 90 on your own, but this will take a bit of time, so what I recommend you do to speed it up is to set the difficulty to normal. Then, once you've made it to floor 90, pull up your map, return to the lobby, and change the difficulty to heroic. And I recommend doing this on heroic because you will have a higher chance of getting an exotic to drop for you, because in the Division 2, the higher the difficulty level, the better the loot, right? Now, I wouldn't recommend it, but if you're feeling brave, or if you think you have a great build set up for it, you can even do this floor 90 summit farm on legendary difficulty. You can also add whatever directives you can handle if you would like to earn more XP or get more targeted loot drops. Okay, so now let me explain this next part because this is important. This is basically how to increase your chances of getting any exotic you need. So if you are trying to get the St. Elmo's exotic AR, for example, you want to have assault rifles selected as your targeted loot, right? Same thing for, let's say, the Lady Death. For example, if you're trying to get the Lady Death exotic SMG, then you want to select SMGs as your targeted loot. Does that make sense? So again, just to clarify for you, whatever exotic you are trying to get, you will need to select the category of that exotic in the targeted loot. So if you need the exotic ninja bike bag, select backpacks. Need the exotic capacitor or St. Elmo's engine? Then select assault rifles. Okay, so I'm sure you guys get the idea by now, right? So once you start up floor 90, make sure that you do not clear the floor completely. In fact, once you've taken out the last boss, it's important for you to have at least 2 NPCs left. So there's going to be 2 waves for each boss fight, and the boss will spawn with the second wave of NPCs. So once the third boss spawns, eliminate them and keep at least 2 NPCs alive so the floor doesn't completely clear. Once you've taken out the boss, grab your loot, open up your map, and return to the lobby. If you have a reliable PvE build that you use to farm, you can manage to eliminate about 25 to 30 bosses within 45 minutes if you are running this on challenging, which is equivalent to about 2 countdown runs. And what I mean by that is it takes approximately 20 minutes, give or take, to complete a countdown run, right? And there is no way in hell you are going to be killing up to 30 named NPC bosses in 2 countdown runs, which is why it's a lot better to farm floor 90 in the summit mission if you are trying to farm for exotics, and maybe around 15 to 20 bosses on heroic, depending on how effective your build is. So yeah, that's pretty much the gist of that method. So I'm going to show you guys another quick method you can do that's also great. Not as good as the summit, but it's still another option, and that's by farming level 4 control points. Now, what I recommend you do is farm control points in areas that are dropping targeted loot that's relevant for you. So, in other words, if you are trying to get the Iron Lung exotic LMG, for example, then find an area on the map dropping light machine guns and farm the control points in that area. So, there aren't any targeted loot areas with LMGs in this cycle, but if, let's say, this area was dropping LMGs, right? Well, then you will want to farm the control points and any other activity in this area. And once you've done that, you can always reset the control points and repeat this. This is a great way to get exotic weapons and gear that are in the general loot pool. So any enemy you eliminate within this LMG targeted loot area has a chance to drop the Bullet King, Iron Lung, or any other exotic LMG in the general loot pool. Doesn't matter whether they are a red bar, purple bar, or a yellow barred NPC. Any NPC has a chance to drop an exotic, but the named boss NPCs have a higher chance to drop an exotic, however. This method is highly effective, so don't overlook it. I actually managed to get the Catharsis and the Tardigrade exotics in one drop, as you can see in this clip here. So yeah, pretty crazy. Now, I do recommend you change your open world difficulty to either challenging or heroic, whatever you're comfortable with. This will just ensure you are getting a higher chance at an exotic drop. I know many of you may shy away from heroic difficulty, but to be honest, the NPC's damage output will still be the same as it is on challenging. The only difference between challenging and heroic is that the NPCs will have more armor, and even more so when you're in a group of 4. But if you're a solo player, you should be fine on heroic, and you will only be getting better quality loot. Because like I mentioned previously, in the Division 2, RNG is a lot better the higher the difficulty. But if you've seen my legendary build videos and have given those builds a try, heroic difficulty should be a piece of cake for you. I'll leave the link to some of those build videos in the description. Super solid builds, guys. You should definitely check them out, especially if you are a new or returning player. Okay, guys, so those are the farming methods, but as a bonus, I want to help those of you who are new or returning to the game with a couple of builds to make this farm a lot faster and more efficient for you. So check this out, guys. This first build is nothing fancy, but it's a decent striker battle gear DPS build that deals out a great amount of weapon damage. And if you're new and don't have the striker set, you can easily get a full set from running countdown and setting your targeted loot to the striker gear set. Shouldn't take you more than 2 runs. You can even get a 4-piece set in a single run. Now, if you don't have the Coyote mask or Picaro's holster, then I recommend using a Fenris group and a Walker Harris piece as an alternative. Having 1 piece Fenris will give you 10% assault rifle damage, and 1 piece Walker Harris will give you 5% weapon damage. And here are the stats on the gear pieces. And I recommend you pause the video if you need more time to examine them. Okay. For the weapon, I'm running the St. Elmo's engine, which you can easily get by doing this floor 90 farm. To be honest, any assault rifle with a decent RPM will do fine if you don't have this weapon. Okay guys, this second build is one of the best for clearing control points and XP farming in the Division 2. This is a one-shot rifle build that I believe everyone should have in their loadout. It's extremely fun to use and is great for solo PvE runs. There are many different variations to this build, but if you need a great one-shot sniper build, you can use this one. Just so this video isn't too long, I won't be breaking down the build here, but if you'd like to see the full breakdown review of this one-shot rifle build, then check out this video right here, and I'll leave a link for your convenience in the description. This is Prajna, and I hope you found this video helpful. Don't forget to smash the like button if you haven't, and if you enjoy content like this, please consider subscribing to the channel. Keep it cool, keep it classy, and see you in the next video.